Chapter 6. Day 1. Sounds. The glittering gems on the chandelier were giving her a headache. Not to say that was strange. For all she knew, the chandelier was designed to give ponies headaches. She didn't quite see the point. Sure, that could happen. Regardless, she had a headache. And for some reason, it was being caused by a light fixture, which was a bit unusual. The chandelier itself was a marvelous piece of engineering, but still couldn't compare to the room they were situated in, a large room at that, the main dining hall of the fancy mansion, one of a few that was littered with paintings and glass displays. She drew her eyes away from the chandelier and focused instead on the food in front of her. Her headache got worse. Maybe it was a number of spoons she could see, and cutlery in general. With that in mind, she looked away from that and drew her gaze to John Colt, the far end of the marathon-length table. He was sitting right at the end. Apparently he wasn't getting a headache for the spoons. How he managed to tell each one apart, she'll never know. But the key thing here was that he could. Breakfast wasn't meant to be complicated. Not that she would know anyway. She was bored. She needed something to do. One thing in particular that had been gnawing on her mind, that he had said a few minutes before as they sat down. 3 days? She called her starting. He said without taking his eyes from the food in front of him. Now we're getting earlier? Fancy Pants sighed, looked up at her. Pinky, my dear, I don't think you understand just how difficult it can be to get an audience with a princess. She is actually very busy at the moment, fixing finances for repairs of our old town. He trailed off and eyed her momentarily, gauging her reaction. Say, you wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you? She shook her head rapidly, eyes darting, hair darting, bits of sail and mouth darting. Huh? She hastily swallowed. I wouldn't know anything about that, but nope. Fancy eyed her for a moment before shaking his head. Well, he said, I won't pry. Not that sort of thing that Gemma does under any circumstances. A lady always deserves her privacy. He stuck a pose in his chair, dramatically, stamping a hoof on the gleaming table in between them. Bowls clattered noisily. Polished mantle set a sharp glaze his way, and Fancy Pants wilted slightly. He took a moment to gather himself before continuing. Now, Pinky, he paused for thought. You mustn't get down about these things. I'm sure that these 3 days will pass in absolutely no time at all, and you'll actually be wanting them back. I've heard that the personal audience can be quite intimidating for someone who isn't familiar with them. He chuckled quietly. What am I going to do for 3 days? She said. 3 days. Fancy Pants took off his monocle and cleaned it. The piece of eyewear developed in a soft, glowing, golden glow. Too long for what? Am I missing something? And put it here. That I should know about. She said, no, nothing. I just want to see her soon. Guess I'm just a patient. She knew it was a flimsy excuse. It's only got a matter of time before Fancy found out. He would quickly grab her and take her away to them. Then she'd disappear. Quite right, my friend. These things happen. Maybe she just practiced as patient to appear in lack. Fancy Pants gently pushed his chair back from the table and stood up. The chair making a loud, screeching noise. She went. Fancy didn't realize it. Now, finish up quickly. You asked me what to do. What there is to do in Camelot. His right hoof shot in the air. And I've suddenly a brilliant idea. She could faintly hear Polish grumbling behind her. Oh dear, here we go again. I will show you around. They express the sights, the smells. She looked round nervously. Actually, I don't think the... Nonsense, my dear. You will have a ball. The St. Camelot is the greatest in the whole of Equestria, beaten by no other. Even the bustling metropolis of Manhattan cannot compare. No, really, I think the... Now jump to it, my big compatriot. We have so much time and so little to see. A moment later, he paused. Scratch that! Reverse it! He quickly scooped a bowl from the table in front of him. Carry off. I'll take care of breakfast now. While you're hopper, fresh it up, Polished. Polished Mantle shook his head. Fresh it up, fancy? The tuxedo-adorned mustache enthused. Didn't stop. Oh, I didn't know Polly just helped her, is what I'm trying to say. We're in Camelot after all. We're in Rome and all that. With that, he was out of sight, walking through another of the multitude of doors in the large dining room. Polly shook his head and chuckled softly. Well, ma'am, it appears you are going to be spending time on the town. The butler started walking away from the table. Why don't you head off to the room, get ready for a day? I'll just clean up here. Celestia knows that Fancy Pants will never manage it by himself, regardless of what he thinks. Just before she left the dining room hall, hoarse voice drifted through the corridors. Hop to it, Pinkie Pie! Camelot in its finest in the early hours of the morning. You'll never want to miss mock opening. We'll leave in about 10 minutes. Sound good? Fancy Pants was watching her reaction as she mauled at the sights in front of her. Beautiful, isn't it? It really is, though. Indeed, I find it relaxing to visit areas of this amazing city on a regular basis. Check up on all the changes, and all that helps to keep me up to date. You'll be surprised how much this city can change, how quickly it can do it. I just went on a business trip, came back, but found a whole section of the city and was swamped with another. He put his hoof to his chin. I never did think that some of these ponies in the academy had their heads screwed on. I still don't. Some of their experiments are slightly strange. Sure as anything, but ponies that lived in the places they got switched a loop, mind you. She smiled, looked up his face. But no, it's all in good fun in the end, as long as no point gets hurt. Now I have no problem with them doing what they do best. Wouldn't have the key marks if they weren't, right? Ha ha. Finishing his short speech, Fancy put down a hoof on his shoulder. They got along. The buildings are rising on either side of them. Usually 2 stories, not as high as close as the market. Here you can see at least where you're going. That would probably do till early morning, but that didn't matter much too much. Fancy assured her that this area of the city was never bustling as such, more filled like the difference between cool and boiling water. The market was crowded, constantly moving. These areas are more drifting along, fitting smoothly. The hooves made faint chops, sounds on the cobblestone beneath. The early morning sun illuminated the streets into a sheen of colours. It had rained the night before. Paws on the ground remained reflected. Spectres on the walls covered the buildings in ever so faint paintings. Not that made much of a difference. The walls were already colourful, as they were. Reflectors only pronounced more so. Faint sounds drifted through the streets, mingling quietly with each other in the early mornings. The buildings blocked most of the sound, but she could still hear some. Fancy passed off a moment. Hold up, my dear, he said. Be still. His left flow over you for an instant. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath, his chest rising and falling visibly. She followed example. He let the gentle sound wash over her. letting them carry her away. She felt like drifting herself, a piece of the situation, lulling her in a trance. I always like to do this when I come to these places, Fancy said. They have rich culture, you know. Ponies from everywhere come here to live. They bring their lives with them. You can't take that for granted ever. Why, I've ever found a band of gypsies once. Mind you, only stayed for a few days. Nomads. All that. But they had the whole place in uproar. He grimaced slightly, but was light-hearted. Come to think of it, the commotion wasn't always for the right reasons. He smoothed down his tux with a hoof. I've never seen a pony get steal a monocle from a pony's face without them noticing. It's a bit of a gift, I guess. He grimaced. She thought she could hear him quietly mumble. And it didn't have to be my monocle. He stopped and realized that she was eyeing him a bit strangely. Never mind that. Just mind to myself. Nothing of the matter. Fancy Pants drew a hoof out dramatically, as if unveiling his piece to his other. May I introduce you, he paused for effect, to a musician's district. Without waiting for a response, he started walking in. We are going to have an exciting time here, and I guarantee that in no time at all, 3 days will be over, and you'll be sad to see them go. I have been here many a times, and never ceased amazed by diversity. I bet you will have just as much fun as me. She followed him. Not she had much choice in what anyways. He was her one ticket to see a princess, or both of them. She had to stick by him. She wanted the opportunity. Wait a second, can you stick to a pony? Let's try that. She discreetly tried to show her head around, examine surroundings. No glue around, pity. They were sitting not much more to it than that. The sitting on a bench, sun had truly risen, illuminating the streets fully, and more ponies were on the streets. Fancy was right. We said that this place never got too crowded. Even when the day was already started, she could still walk in a clear spot. At a permanent corner of Fancy Pants, every pony is much more laid back in the musician's district. There was no rush to get anywhere. And if someone wanted to find somewhere noisy and full of shops, then they could just go to the market. There's no need for that kind of bustle here of all places. She smiled for what seemed like the first time in a while. It was a true smile, not something fake, and she could remember last time she had a natural smile. The simple happiness of being happy. That smile faltered for a moment. Have you ever been like this? I don't think a pony showed me around like this. Before I've been kind while they did it. All right, Pinky. She shook her thoughts out of her head, leaving for lid. Oh yeah, just enjoying music at all. She turned her head back to the streets in front of her. They're seated near some baskets. All look happy, just sit and play. Even the ponies walking by did enjoy. That wasn't the case. All performers seemed to be appreciated, and the cases were slowly being filled with bits by enormous passerbys. Each one of them, which would have a huge smile on their face as the music filled the street. Fancy leaned over. That's one of the reasons why I love the place. He lost a satisfied breath. It's not like some other places. All the ponies here appreciate effort, and they show it generously. Not like some ponies. The image of pungent aroma filled her head for a moment. I fancied what he continued. But even the buskers don't get donations. He said they'll still be perfectly happy just to play. This is what they love, and ponies accept that. I guess what I'm trying to say, he sighed, looking for the right words, is that all ponies should be accepted. No matter who they are, what they do, this place seems like it had that mindset. He took her for a moment. She thought she could see him blush. Oh, excuse Miss Pye, I'm sorry that I got caught there. I tend to be a bit introspective at times. Just block me out for how long? She slowly shook her head. It doesn't matter. She tried to form words in her head. Words were flying out. I thought it was nice. Fancy laughed. It's always nice if I have some points like my thoughts. He beckoned and sailed off the bed. Come, I actually want you to introduce you to some pony. Fancy started walking, leading her way. She did notice that every busker he walked by would always leave a donation. A smile, a kind word of encouragement. And all performance had a huge smile on her face as it passed along. Here we are. Just a moment. I'll see if she's home. She can be a bit shy at times. He wouldn't be able to tell normally, but Fancy calmed himself. Just wait. You'll see in a moment. He walked towards the building. That day I stopped at the door, knocked on Johnny. I was playing with the door. Nothing fancy. Near the street. One of many streets. The sound of the street performance had faded here. There are a few ponies on the street. Fancy waited. The two of you will get along like a building on fire, he said. She's nice to strangers, but she's still very shy. So don't, go crazy. They waited. Fancy broke the silence again. I have known her for a long time, since both of us were practically foals. You get to know a pony well after knowing them for that long, he said. That sound! Her hoofsteps grew louder from the door behind her. Oh! Here she comes now. The door opened and the pony appeared. She had nothing that leaped out at the eye. Simple mare, grey coat, darker mane, with eyes that drew attention. Their huge purple orbs, depthless, expressing beyond words, and open eyes and mouth. They say something, but Fancy and companion shut mouth straight away. Pinkie Pie! Fancy said. May I introduce you to my friend, Octavia Philharmonica? She smiled at the grey pony. Nice to see you. Octavia didn't waste any time, pulling them both through the doorway and slammed the door behind her. The grey pony rounded on her, barely glancing at Fancy Pants. Her smile faded as Octavia examined her closely before leaping in. Sister!